The Apostle Paul was deep. You could even say the Apostle Paul was deeper than Peter. But he understood in areas of uncertainty, ask and follow through with the order. Come into the name of Yahweh Bashem Yashai Bashem Rakakwadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders at Great Millstone who taught me this truth. And salutations unto the Akim that continues to push the word in truth and in sincerity. Here we have Acts the 15th chapter, and I'm going to start from verse 1 straight into it. And certain men, from verse 1, and certain men which came down from Judea taught the brethren and said, except ye be circumcised after the manner of Moses, ye cannot be saved, which is the actual circumcision of the flesh. When therefore Paul and Barnabas had no small dissension and disputation with them, they determined that Paul and Barnabas and certain other of them should go up to Jerusalem unto the apostles and elders about this question. So, basically the situation is that it was in question that if you're not physically circumcised, you can't be saved. Now, we obviously know the standing on that is that according to the law, which is the manner of Moses, which is really the manner of the Most High, because it's not Moses' law, it's the Most High's law, which he gave unto Moses. But according to the standard of the law, yes, you should be circumcised. And if you can get it done, if you haven't got it done, and you're in a position to get it done, then get it done. However, if you're not in a position to get it done, it's not a barrier to salvation. But where possible, do. When therefore Paul and Barnabas had no small dissension and disputation with them, they determined that Paul and Barnabas and certain other of them should go up to Jerusalem unto the apostles and elders about this dissension. And being brought on their way by the church, they passed through Phoenice and Samaria, declaring the conversation of the Gentiles, and they caused great joy unto all the brethren. And when they were come to Jerusalem, they were received of the church, and a more closer word there is assembly, rather than church, but and of the apostles and elders, and they declared all things that the Most High have done with them. So they gave the report of what they were doing through the power of the Lord. And there rose up certain of the sect of the Pharisees which believed, saying that it was needful to circumcise them and to command them to keep the law of Moshe. And the apostles and elders came together for to consider of this matter. And when there had been much disputing, Peter rose and said unto them, men and brethren. And why Peter? Because he was the head. Okay, Peter was the head apostle, man. All right. Which is, wow. I mean, when you really get into it, when they're considering the law of Moses, that was him himself. Because it was the house which is being built, being established, which goes back to the house of David, which he was himself. So he stood up to declare what would be the verdict according to the Spirit, wherein the law which was given to him in lifetimes ago, how it would be implemented to the believers coming in of the house of Israel, coming into the house of David. Okay, because you got Israelites, but then you got the house of David, all right, which consists of a certain sect of Israelites, which are the elect. Men and brethren, ye know how that a good while ago the Most High made choice among us, that the Gentiles by my mouth should hear the word of the gospel and believe, which is the Israelite foreigners. And the Most High, which knoweth the heart, bear them witness, giving them the Holy Spirit, even as he did unto us, and put no difference between us and them, purifying their hearts by faith. Now, therefore, why tempt ye the Most High to put a yoke upon the neck of the disciples, which neither our fathers nor we were able to bear? But we believe that through the grace of the Lord Yahushua we shall be saved, even as they. So, through the Spirit, the Lord gave it unto David. So, like the Lord gave it unto Peter. That's the Spirit. The Lord gave it unto Peter to say, look, man, salvation is not finalized in the circumcision of the flesh. Okay, first, they're Gentiles, man. They're the Israelite foreigners. Some of them were Hellenized, man. They're in a different custom, so don't put no heavy yoke on them. And he said, first let them believe sincerely and take it from there, man. But salvation is not finalized in circumcision. Now, the account goes on, but the point I wanted to make is that Paul was not a part of the 12, or is not a part of the 12, but he's an apostle. Paul wrote the majority of the New Testament. Even Peter bore witness that, his writings are, heavy. They're hard to be understood. You've got to be quite learned to really understand the depths of what Paul was writing through the Spirit in his various letters to the assemblies, man. But you you know, as I said at the start, you could even argue that Paul's writings are even deeper than Peter's, man. But still, that's irrelevant. The order was the order. Peter came back in his lot, when Moses and David came back in their lot. And as Yahushua clearly stated, the keys, of the church were given to Peter. He's that rock, all right? That's why his name was changed to Kafar, or Cephas in the Greek, from Simon, which means stone or rock, man. Because upon him, the church, the believers, the body would be built, man. The head apostle. So, in light of certain events that's recently taken place, man, as deep as Paul was, man, he still followed through with order, and he still made a journey to ask, man. You don't know? Go and ask, man. Okay, if you don't know, ask. Don't go and teach something to an assembly under your hearing, because they weren't in Jerusalem, but they made the journey to Jerusalem. So don't go and teach something to the assembly in your hearing. What I mean by that is all the people that watch you on your YouTube channel, don't go and teach something that you're not sure about. All right? Put in the effort to study. All right? And show forth humility to ask, man. All right? What did Yahushua say? Ask and it shall be answered. Knock and the door shall be open. You have to have faith. You can't be teaching but not asking. All right? You can't be teaching but not knocking. All right? The door has to have had been open to you, man. You'd have had to ask to receive and get, man. So you can give. Freely you have received, freely give. You can't give you can't give anything of this truth if you haven't received it, man. You first have to receive, then give back, man. So ask. All right? If Paul, as deep as Paul was, if he can humble himself, make the journey and ask, who are we, man? All right? Teach the right thing. If you don't know, ask.